What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Turbo, the frog, today at the request of Art Kid Tech. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it, my friends. Here we are, sitting at about $0.00856 right now. Looking at this thing on a daily perspective, you do have this nice kind of symmetrical triangle look to you, don't you, right? That's what they call symmetrical triangles, right? Whenever you've got that little point there. This one, to be fair, it's not quite, I suppose it's rather symmetrical, isn't it? It is rather symmetrical, actually. Yeah. Anyways, consolidating, coming to the end of this tip here, the tip of the nose here, likely looking for a breakout move. Does it go to the downside? Does it go to the upside? All that and more in this video. Hit that like button, subscribe on that note. Here we are looking at the daily time frame, finding support potentially in this area, the same area that you found support the time before, or the time before that, a little bit higher, but still the time before that even. You've got a good relationship with this area, don't you? I have a feeling that you do. Look at that. Support down here, support down there, support there. You did go lower, but still relative support. Support there, support there. You went lower, but still support. Actually, it was a higher low. I have a feeling, or it's, call it a feeling if you want. Call it eyeballs, seeing eyeballs. I don't know. You'll probably find support here, move up higher. Beyond all that, you take away the RSI, you just look at the green line, the 123 moving average here. Support there, support around this area, support just below the area, support here now. Support here. When you were below, anytime, actually, the best way to look at this, I suppose, would be that anytime you've been below the green line throughout this whole existence has been the most ideal opportunities to buy. And you're basically right there now. So is it time to buy Turbo? I don't think I need to answer that for you because I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. But yes, it's a great time to buy Turbo. Looking at it on a daily perspective, again, the RSI here, I would assume you are going to move up not just higher, but to the overbought zone. When you get into the overbought zone is whenever you see these generally stronger moves, and of which I suspect you're on the brink of enacting a move like this. Looking at the 3-day time frame, I like the RSI on here too, man. You just literally, you don't even live below the 50. Most of your existence is above the, it's crazy, man. This is absurdly bullish. Yeah, very confident you find support here and you start moving higher. Man, Turbo's, what's the market cap of this thing, man? It's absurdly low, right? That's not absurdly low. 588 though. A coin like this could definitely see a 100x from here, right? Absolutely it could. Absolutely Turbo is still 100xable. If you think that Turbo could not see an 85-cent price or even breaking $1 by the end of the cycle, it doesn't have to. It certainly doesn't have to. But to not even consider it as a possibility, you're robbing yourself, potentially robbing yourself of the thing's true potential, right? But time will tell. We'll see how it goes. All in all, this consolidation phase here that you had, you broke out, and now you're just finding support above it. You're kind of stair-stepping, so I would assume that on your next breakout, you probably see something of a similar magnitude. From a high to a low here, you went up to your 1414, 1618 area. From a high to a low here, I would assume your next move probably takes you up to about 1.8 cents to 2.1 cents. You're at 0.0085 cents now. What would that do for you? Anything from a 90% growth to 150% growth. That's about on par with what we could see for the rest of the market. So I see that. I could see that happening for Turbo. If it's on par, then likely we would see it agree here, right? We would see Turbo. That would mean that we would expect this chart essentially to move sideways, what I'm about to pull up here. Turbo versus all altcoins here. It should just be anticipated to move sideways. Looking at the daily time frame, kind of looks about right. I mean, that RSI isn't going to help us out at all. But if anything, I would assume that you probably do move a little bit lower, but then you probably move up, right? But you probably are range bound, Turbo. You probably are. Yeah. Hard to say. Calling for a range boundedness is really hard to say, but if you look at this, that's what it likes to do. Short frames of time, it likes to get real crazy, but for most of its life, it's pretty like on par at least, right? So I would assume you probably have a day or two, you'll have your day probably either within this week or next week sometime soon. You'll get a nice pop up. You'll probably see Turbo outperform most of the market on just like a given day. It'll probably move up like 22% more than the average. Like if every coin moves up 10% that day, Turbo's the one that's moving up 32%, right? Something like that. Or if every coin moves up 5%, Turbo's the one that's up 20% or 25%, something like that. And that probably does happen over the coming week, I would think. Probably not by the end of this week, but over the coming week. But I would expect after that, not saying that Turbo loses money. That's not going down doesn't mean you lose money. It just means Turbo outperforms the market and then the market catches up. That's all that means, right? So I personally do expect Turbo is on its way likely to a 1.63 cents to 2.1 cents, if not higher, by the end of February. Certainly by the end of January, I would think that you're up in this area. You're probably above 1.6 cents by the end of January, but breaking above 2 cents might be something more for February, end of February, or middle of February stuff. If that's all, if you guys had a good time, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. That's all that I got for you guys. Genuinely, I think that if we're looking at Turbo here as a $588 million, let's just round up and say $590 million market cap. This is its first cycle. Most coins, all coins, like literally every coin except for Ethereum, they do not hit their $100 billion market cap in their first cycle. So I doubt Turbo sees a $100 billion market cap. But a $58 billion market cap, that would put it at 100x from here. Right, 58 billion, totally achievable for something like this. 58 billion would give you an 85-cent price, and if you were to go to $1, you could go to $1. You could go even higher than 100x from here, right? If you were to look at the high to low here, there's actually targets all the way up at about, let's see, at about anything. Oh, actually, for some reason I thought there were targets at 80 cents. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. That's okay. The targets here are anything from 40 cents to $1.48. So 80 cents being the rightful middle there. I suppose it's your call whether it goes below that line or above that line. I don't think that Turbo is capable of seeing like 150x. So probably not above this line, right? Or if you go above that line, probably not too high above that line. But I think again, if you were to hit $1, that's probably like the maximum expectation that I would give you is $1. The minimum expectation would be 40 cents, I guess, by this metric. Okay, hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.